right, guys, welcome back to the Dynamic Lifestyle Podcast. We have our awesome guest here, the one and only Adam Bornstein. Adam, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How you guys doing?
We're doing well, man. It's good to see you and chat with you. It's been a while, so it's good.
It has. I mean, we go back a little while now, but I think we had too long of a break.
Right,
Too long. So I'm glad that you guys brought me on. Excited to be here and talk shop.
Yeah, and shout out to your brother Jordan, man. We're always bugging him, so hopefully he listens to this.
He's the mastermind behind everything.
Yeah, gotcha.
Maybe the nicest human being. A little too nice. He makes me look bad oftentimes, but he's a phenomenal person.
One of the brothers has to be a little meaner than the other. I mean, this guy's more short-tempered.
Yeah.
Neither of us have a temper. Jordan's just such a kind human being, super thoughtful.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Always making me look bad.
Gotcha. All right, Adam. So we like getting our podcast started with, getting to know who you are and what your story is. So, who is Adam Bornstein and what is your story?
How far back do you want me to go? That's always the question I ask.
It's totally up to you.
There's been multiple lives that I've already lived. It's kind of a very circuitous route of how I got here.
Yeah, let's go into like how you got into the fitness industry and everything like that. As far as that.
That's going to take us just way far back. So I would say that the point of getting into the fitness industry was I had a lot of really bad injuries back when I was much younger, dating as far back as high school. I've broken my back twice. I've torn every ligament in my left knee. My left knee, I tore ACL, MCL, lateral meniscus, medial meniscus, broken kneecap, fractured femur, all in one ski accident. So I had all these terrible accidents or injuries, all sports related. The broken back was terrible. The second time I broke my back, I couldn't do anything for a year plus. It was just bad. It was a bad situation. And I got into fitness by accident, by people telling me that I just wasn't going to be able to live an active lifestyle, and me not wanting to settle for that like predetermined future for myself. Basically they laid out what the future looked like, and I was like, I'm not really a big fan of that. Yeah. So I started learning more about the human body and how it functioned. It was always kind of a hobby. Like I never really thought that training people could be a career. I got certified very, very young and trained people, but it was more of like I did it because I was interested in it, not because I thought it was going to be a job. And it wasn't until much later in life that I was able to kind of connect the dots. It wasn't until I was about 26 years old where I'd already had a job, gone out into the working world, had several jobs, and I realized that I wanted to write for a living. I used to be a researcher at the University of Colorado. I did that for several years, so I've got a strong research science background. And I realized that the best part was publishing studies, not necessarily like the test batteries and doing statistics all day long. I didn't like it. So I tried to get a job writing. I'd been writing since I was 18, but no one wanted to hire me. So I decided, I'll get another degree. I went to get a master's in journalism, and it was there that I met Ted Spiker, who I consider my mentor, former Men's Health editor, author of too many books to list off, and just all around fantastic human. And one day I just like plopped myself down in his office, and I was like, how do I do what you do? How do I figure out that we're like a guide where I'm like so passionate about something, but also like willing to just like work my ass off? And he's like, well, correct me if I'm wrong, but you enjoy writing and you have this very strong fitness and nutrition background that you never even use. Why don't you combine them and write about health and fitness? And it sounds so dumb saying it now, but I'd never even thought about that. I was like, and a lot of that hesitancy was that like everyone told me don't be a writer, you'll be dirt poor and never be able to living. Everyone's like, don't get in nutrition or fitness, you'll be dirt poor and never make a living. And I use that as an excuse. Like it was funny because I wouldn't let people predetermine my future from a physical standpoint, but I let people predetermine my future from a work standpoint. And it almost took Spiker telling me that where the lights went on, and I was like, yeah, I should totally pursue this. So, I started doing some freelance writing on the side for a bunch of health publications. One thing led to another, and I applied for an internship at Men's Health after I got my graduate degree, just being like, you know what, no ego, going hungry. I don't care if I made more money when I was 22 years old. I'm going to work my way to the top. I applied for an internship, got a job there, ended up, being at Men's Health for a little more than 4 years, became fitness editor from there, then went on and became editorial director of Livestrong.com, made that into the biggest health site on the web, eventually left Livestrong to start Born Fitness, and then Pen Name, which is our consulting company, in between all that time, I've written now 9 books, 6 of them with my name, 3 of them ghostwritten, and that's where we are today. It was a very roundabout way, but like I said, it's very, very circuitous in nature.
That's awesome.
I started with just interests and led down a path to where I am today.
That's a hell of a journey, man.
Yeah. So my next question going into that. So, I mean, you were at Men's Health, pretty good, career right there. Then Livestrong, another pretty good career where a lot of people would be like, hey, I'm content with this, So what was the driving force behind leaving Livestrong and going and starting your own legacy with Born Fitness?
It was just kind of not wanting to play by the rules. I saw a lot of the limitations in working for big companies, and those big companies are fantastic, but they play by certain rules. Mainly, a lot of considerations are factored into advertisers and editorial and either the type of content you could create or just the political environment of any big company. I mean, when I worked at Livestrong, it was part of Demand Media, which when Demand Media initially went IPO, we were a $2 billion company. I mean, it's a huge company. It's not all about me. And I never wanted to be about me, but sometimes creating change involves a little bit more risk than, say, a big company could take. And I wanted to write about health and fitness in a different way. I wanted to coach health and fitness in a different way. And I also wanted the freedom to go out there and build a consulting company where I could help different companies, because I realized a while ago, when I first started in health and fitness, I wanted it to be a little bit more about me. And then I realized that if I wanted to help the most people possible, it couldn't be about me. It had to be about the people that are doing the right thing. And I've told you guys this. I mean, we'd worked together that it's like, if I only make it about myself, I'm only going to help, this many people. If I can use my skills, abilities, insight to help the best people in the industry, the people that have big audiences, and help them do a better job of communicating with people about health and fitness, I can help a ton of people. And it might not mean that I get the credit or the attention, but I just decided I don't really care. Most of the people have no idea, especially our consulting company, I think has a much bigger impact and reach than what I do in Born Fitness, which is my baby. It was the first company I ever created. But I don't care, because if I know that we're doing good work, if I know that we're helping good people reach greater audiences or do a better job of helping people, then I'm fulfilling my role. And, when I was with one company, I knew that I was always going to be limited. Whereas when I created my own companies, I could, turn Born Fitness into what I wanted it to, and then go out and work with everyone. I've still worked with Men's Health, Men's Fitness, Muscle and Fitness, Shape, Self, Women's Health, Greatest. I mean, you name it. And then individual brands, and allow them to do a better job of building their business, communicating their message, helping their clients, whatever it might be. And it's extremely fulfilling. I absolutely love it.
Man, that's amazing.
That's awesome, man. So let's kind of stay on this gear with work and everything. So we know that you're very, very busy. You have a lot to balance out. You're a father, you're a consultant, entrepreneur, a coach. You have a lot of writing stuff going on. So how do you sit there and focus on a day-to-day basis and get that deep, uninterrupted work done?
First of all, I hate the B word. I hate using busy, because everyone's busy.
Yeah,
correct. And it's not someone's place to say, oh, I'm busy and you're not. I think every single person in the world is busy, and how they handle that busyness is up to them. Like someone who works 6 hours a day could be just as busy as someone who works 12 hours a day, but their days are different. So to me, it's more about what do I want to make time for and what will I not. And if I find that I'm not able to make time for something, I either have to readjust my priorities or be honest with myself or be honest with the people I'm working with and say, I don't have time to work on this. So my days, I wish I could flip this camera on and show you my schedule. It's just extremely well laid out, where I have time set aside for everything. Down to, I was joking with you right before this call, getting the days right for this, because I had it wrong on my calendar. I had a workout right before this. I schedule down my workout or else it won't get in. I schedule in the time, the early morning used to be just time for writing and work. But now I'm the morning shift with my son. He's 11 months old. So, especially usually gets up around 6. I'll hand him off to my wife somewhere around 9. So 6 to 9 is blocked off. I'm with Bodie, the intern, as I call him. That's our time. And then I have time with him at the end of the day. So when I have so many different competing demands, one, it's knowing when to say no and when to be honest with people. I want to help the whole world, but if I try to help the whole world and just give them a small portion of myself, or not the best version of myself? Am I really helping them, or am I doing a disservice to them and a disservice to myself? So it starts by knowing, what, never to bite off more than I can chew, no matter how ambitious I'm going to be. And then it just comes down with a lot of like scheduling. For me, I'm super forgetful. So for me, everything has to be scheduled. If I forget to put it in my calendar, there's a very, very high likelihood I'm going to forget, and then it breaks down the entire system. Because, for me, it's like when that calendar shifts, unless it's something that's urgent, I move on to the next task. And then if I didn't finish something, I can finish it up the next day. But I think the biggest thing with focus for me is to never make my to-do lists too big. I tell everyone this, and it's something that even within Born Fitness and Pen Name, the big thing for myself, and that what I kind of almost recommend for all of my employees, is create 1 to 2 goals every day. And that's it. You have other things you need to do, but 1 to 2 goals. And that one goal could be like buy your wife flowers. Take an hour to read. Like, that goal can be anything, but you always want to get done at the end of the day and be like, today was a success. And if you give yourself a laundry list of things to do, it's very easy for you to feel like a day was not successful. Yeah. But if you keep that list very, very short, and then you can be hyper-focused, because it's like, I am not going to sleep until I get these 1 or 2 things done. If you have a list of 12 things to get done, you're going to fail more often than you're going to succeed. And I believe that success breeds success. So I always make sure that I have that hyper focus. And that one thing could be a big project. Could be, I have to finish this article today, or I have to finish a book chapter today. And that might mean my whole day is dedicated to that, but at least I know how to assess my day. And by making it very easy for me to assess, it makes it easier for me to focus. By being easy to focus, it makes it easier for me to succeed and get a lot done.
Yeah, I like that. I like too how you gave that tip about using like 1 to 2 goals as well, and that could be even something outside of just like what you're doing. Like you said, buy your wife flowers or something. And I think it's just a really good like strategy to use. So thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I like what you said too about not making the list so big, because psychologically you just look at that list and if it's covering the whole page, you're like, shit, like you're going to be pretty disappointed if you don't get that done, at the end of the day. And I know I've gotten myself into that type of stuff, and I'm like, yeah, so that's a really good point to remember. I'm glad you brought that up. It's a good teaching point right there.
I don't know one person who doesn't like checking things off their list, but if there's something found, especially when you're on your own company, and whether you're not, you've got your list that you start with at the beginning of the day, but the reality is during the course of the day, through emails, through phone calls, through things that pop up, that list grows by like either several items or 2 to 3 times as big. And that's the most frustrating part. Yeah. Whereas if you could have that side list, but if you have that primary one, it's like first thing I do in the morning is I meditate first thing of the day, and then I make my to-do list. And my to-do list is actually based on what I did the night before I go to bed. So I never go to sleep with a million things on my mind because before I shut down for the day, I make a list of the stuff that I really would like to get done for the next day. And when I wake up the next morning, I look at that list and I'm like, all right, what's the 1 or 2 things I'm going to get done for today? This is my main list. I can have that secondary list. And then no matter how many items get piled on that secondary list, it doesn't get frustrating, because that's what happened. You're like, oh, look at all the stuff I had to do. And then I added all this stuff, and today was lost. Then you end up beating yourself up. And it's a very dangerous cycle, like from a psychological standpoint. But if you have that short list, it's very fulfilling, and you feel good. You got that one list thing, you cross it off, and you're like, today was a good day.
I love that. I'm gonna have to start doing that. All right. Well, so since we're kind of on the same topic of talking about to-do lists and what you're doing in your day-to-day life, I'm fascinated. I know this guy's fascinated too about people's daily rituals, from like when they wake up to the minute where they wind down. So I want to know, what does a day in the life of Adam Bornstein look like?
So you mentioned the first gap of your day.
The days will differ. So as I mentioned, I've got 2 different companies. So I've got Born Fitness and I've got Pen Name Consulting. And the consulting business can, involve us working with anyone like big companies like Microsoft or Beachbody, or individual brands like Arnold Schwarzenegger or Tim Ferriss. So we run the gamut of the work that we do. So there's definitely pockets where there will be overlap, but I try and separate the days. Like, is this the Born Fitness day, or is this a Pen Name day? And then when I always have just brackets of time at the end of the day, which can be a free-for-all. Whichever project needs more time, has more urgency. But in general, day will start between 4:30 to 4:45 in the morning. First 15 minutes of the day are just spent meditating. After that, I will go over the list that I wrote from before make my 2 items that I want to do for the day, and then go upstairs, because my bedroom is in the basement, and I make myself a cup of coffee. I only have 1 per day. It's pretty simple.
Just one?
I'm a very energetic person. I just like drinking something. I didn't drink coffee ever until I was 30. I hit 30, and I'm like, I'm going to start having coffee now. Why not? It was very good when I had a newborn. I will say that was the first time that I actually felt the benefits of coffee. After the coffee, I spend 1 hour writing, and that writing could be anything. It could be journaling. It could be writing sales copy. It could be writing an article. I have to make sure I write every single day, and that's the 1 hour that it's guaranteed that I will write, because writing is just a skill, and it can you can lose it, or it can become dull. So it's important to hone your voice to write, to do that. So I do that for an hour, and then by that time, I don't know when my son's going to be up. So I can either keep writing and I keep on something, but otherwise 6 to 9 is time with my son. It's what I've got blocked off. So if he sleeps later, great, more work is in. If not, game on. And then from about 9:30 until about 10:30 or so is usually when I will work out, because if I push it back any later, not going to happen. So the workout is always scheduled whenever I hand off my son, usually around 9:30, give myself about half an hour to get ready, hour just for workout. If I can't get in an hour these days, it's too bad. I would love to be able to sometimes spend longer in the gym, but you work around your lifestyle. When my son was a newborn, I set aside 20 minutes like 4 times a week, and that was it. Like I just knew anything longer than that wasn't going to happen. So I built a schedule around that, but I have the workout, and then it used to be that I would go to my home office. We recently moved into an office just outside of downtown in Denver, and then I head into the office and I work there. I will have 2 days a week where I try to just schedule all of my calls. I don't like being on call, so I just try to consolidate them. And then I break up the day as needed. I always make sure that I am home by 6. That's when my son eats. So 6 to 7 is usually when, we will try and have dinner with him, or we'll have dinner after him. But feed my son, and then we'll do a bath, put him to bed, and then I have dinner with my wife. It's important that every single night I have to have dinner with my son, and I have to have dinner with my wife, no matter what. And then after that, depending on whatever is going on, I'll either return to doing work, which I will admit I don't like. I don't like when I have to do work after the dinner time hour, but is a byproduct of of running a couple businesses. Or I will spend time with my wife, and we might talk, we might read, we might watch TV. Who knows? Deep into seasons of Ballers right now. There's one more episode, but
I heard that's a good one.
I do not watch much TV outside of sports, but I do watch. I feel like I'm going to forget a show. I guess I watched 3 shows. I watch Ballers. I definitely watch Shark Tank. I absolutely love that show. More to think about how the sharks think about businesses.
Right.
I'm less interested in the businesses. I just like how they react to different businesses. And then like last year there was a show on Showtime called Billions. That I really got sucked into. I think those are my wife loves How to Get Away with Murder. It's a little too intense for me, but I've been watching it with her. I have a friend, Lenny Platt, who was on the first season of the show, and then Matt McGorry, who used to be a trainer in New York, a buddy of mine. He's become a huge actor. He's on How to Get Away with Murder. He was on Orange is the New Black. He's just been blown up, so it's kind of cool to see him on there, since back in the day, he used to work at Peak Performance and trained with him many times, and now he is just absolutely everywhere in the Hollywood scene.
Crazy.
So that was an overview, the 10,000-foot view of my day.
Gotcha. I love it, man. I love the detail and everything like that. So I appreciate you sharing that with us.
Yeah, and I'll recommend a show for you, Narcos, season 1 and 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
New show. I'll always looking for that one, because most of the stuff you can just binge watch. And I'm like, we got no shows to watch.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, now it's football season right now, so I mean, I'm good for the week. Saturday and Sunday. Productivity at Born Fitness and Pen Name takes a deep decline during the fall.
Yeah. So let's kind of stay on that topic about family. So you mentioned a little bit about how you block out time for your son, your wife, and how important that is to you, which is really, really amazing. And I've always been fascinated by this with just high-powered entrepreneurs, very successful entrepreneurs like yourself. Since you are a father now, and congrats, by the way. How has that changed your outlook in life, business, or anything else relevant?
If anything, it just makes me have even more gratitude. I feel very fortunate that my son is healthy, my wife is healthy. Even like the childbirth process was just wow for me to watch. I felt so helpless. As a man in a situation like that, it's tough, because you try and do everything that you can for your wife, but at the end of the day, you're not the one carrying the baby. You're not the one that has to give birth, and that is a wild situation, having watched that. So I'm just happy that my son is healthy, and that my wife is healthy, and that I think the hardest thing to do is, as you add responsibilities into your life, is to not let one bleed into the other or not let one swallow the other. And the example is, when I started a business, it was important to remember that I still, had a wife. Like the business was my baby, but I had to still be a husband to someone. But I also had to still be myself. Because if I lost myself, that would affect my business, that would affect my relationship with my wife. So it was important that I would carve out time for myself, whether it was lifting weights or meeting with friends or doing things that I love, like playing basketball or skiing. And then as I added being a father, it was really important that I carved out time to be a father. My business, my son and my wife should always know that they came first. And, I tell my wife all the time, like, she's got the bat phone. She can, like, if she needs me at any time, no matter what's going on, she can always like call and be like, I need you, and everything has to stop because they have to come first. But just because I'm being a good dad doesn't mean that I can slack on being a husband. So I got to make sure that like I still give my wife the time she deserves. And just because I'm being a good husband doesn't mean that I can't slack on my job, that other people are going to give me a break because I've got a newborn baby or because I've got a wife. And just because I've got that doesn't mean that I can slack on being a friend, that I've got a newborn son. Like we can easily make excuses for ourselves. And obviously, people are going to be more understanding, but I don't think that we should cut ourselves slack. I think the hardest thing is life evolves and develops, whatever you're adding, whether it's a child or a responsibility or a business or a new goal. Like getting in shape can be like getting a job for some people, because it's so difficult and it takes a lot of time, a lot of effort. It's important to understand like all the different aspects of yourself that are important to you, because some things you're just going to realize aren't as important to you, and you kind of let them go. And not because like you're being lazy, it's just not as important for you. So for me, the biggest shift in like becoming a dad was like knowing the time that it would take, and then being able to prioritize what was still important, and then find ways to make sure that I could still be a great husband, a great father, a great friend, a great person, a great employer. That was maybe the hardest thing. I was so worried that, because I'm the type of person who can work 24 hours a day. Mm-hmm. Anyone who's like met me, and it's something that my wife does a very good job of embracing it, but also trying to like rein it in. I can work 24/7.
I remember you.
And oftentimes I do. Yeah, I mean, people in grad school, they said like come up with a 5-word slogan that describes you, and mine was like, I have no off switch. I can just go because I'm just wired like that, and I love what I'm doing. I'm so fueled by the opportunity to help people that I love it. It's like that's right. I don't need coffee. It's like instant energy. I embrace that challenge, and I love it. But that's not good, because you can burn yourself out. And I actually made myself really, really sick. So the hard thing for me is like, if you can't do absolutely everything, and again, it gets back to like wanting to give the best version of yourself for everything you do. How do you prioritize and understand what's important to you, and really ask yourself, what makes me happy? The biggest thing about becoming a father is like, what makes me happy? And to me, like being a dad was so important. I mean, so many people can try and have kids and never are able to have them. Right. And here I am that like, I get to have this kid. I wanted to be great. And what happened was I was not a good boss. I was not a good employer for my employees, like, because I over-adjusted, because I was like so worried that my son wouldn't see me working all the time, even at a young age, and that he would think that like he was as important to me. And he needed to know that he's most important, just like my wife needs to know she was most important. So I actually over-adjusted and wasn't doing a good job, I think, in my job in the first couple months, which some people could say, you had a newborn, like you cut yourself some slack. But I don't think that way. For me, it was like, if those people were important, I had to, one, do a better job communicating with two, but then communicating with them, but then two, do a better job of like carving out time so that I could make sure that it was still prioritized. So for me, it was just more about becoming a father was understanding what is really important in life, and then what you want to give time to, because as time shrinks, like I said, there is no busyness. There's just deciding, is something worth your time or is it not? Right. And for me, I had to decide what was worth time for me. And, some of them were easy decisions. My son, my wife, my business, some of them were hard decisions. And you let some things go. It doesn't mean you never do them. It just means it's not as big of a priority. And that way you can kind of focus on the things that make you happy. And to me, at the end of the day, that's what this is all about. No matter what you're doing, whether you're trying to get in shape or building a business or interacting with people, our goal in life, like people ask, like, what's the meaning in life? Meaning in life is to be happy, I think.
No, absolutely. Love it.
So, and everyone's story, everyone's picture that they paint of what makes them happy is different. You can't tell anyone what should make them happy, but you should internally have a very, very acute idea of what makes you happy. Never, ever lose sight of that, and then constantly assess yourself and ask you, like, am I doing the things that make me happy? Because for me, like, I'll even tell you, making money doesn't make me happy. Like, providing for my family, making sure my wife doesn't worry about money makes me happy. So that's means to the end. I will work myself to the bone if I have to, if it means that she doesn't have to worry about money. But like, money doesn't motivate me because it just doesn't excite me. Helping people does. Being a great father, like filling people's days up, being able to employ people, like giving them a job so that they can put food on the table for family, that motivates me. That excites me. So understanding those things, which is, I mean, that takes some time.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I meditate every single day. A lot of the time it's going back and ask myself, have I lost sight of what makes me happy? And am I doing a good job of like fulfilling those basic needs? And I think being a father, especially just seeing a baby and like understanding like the frailty and like the miracle of life, just opens your eyes to that in so many ways. And I just feel very fortunate. That's awesome. I love being a dad. I'm like unapologetic about how much I just like love it, because he's just an amazing little guy.
Yeah, no,
That's powerful, man.
That's amazing, man. Thank you for sharing that and just going so deep on it. Yeah. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, of course. Thank you,
All
guys.
right. So since we're talking about happiness, we're going deep right now. We're going to stay on this kind of subject that we
All right.
have. So we're big proponents on the 4 pillars of life, right? So health, wealth, love, and happiness. Which one of those pillars are you lacking most right now?
Health, wealth, love, and happiness. I think I could still be healthier. Like I said, I mean, when it comes to wealth, I make enough that I'm happy. Love, I've got so much love in my life for my family, for my wife, for my son. I've got 3 brothers, parents, friends. I mean, there's just big thing is I just always want people to feel love.
Yeah.
And happiness. I'm a really happy guy. I mean, it is like, I tell everyone, like, it is rare that you will see me anything other than like smiling and goofing around. And if not, I'll lock myself in a closet until I'm better, because I don't want anyone to like see me like that. Only my wife, I think, gets to see me on those days, and bless her for being amazing. But it's just, I feel very fortunate. So I think health, which sounds bad coming from someone who is in health fitness industry, could be improved. And some of that is still because of needing to improve those bad habits. Bad habits mainly being overworking, not sleeping enough, things like that. The lack of sleep is something that I work on a lot, and I really drove myself into the ground to the point that it turns out I've got an autoimmune disorder, that when I don't sleep enough, it just like, it knocks me out. When I say knocks me out, like sick for, right before my son was born, I was sick for like almost an entire month.
Yeah,
It was so bad that my wife thought that I was like dying, like literally by my bedside, just thinking that I'm dying, because like I was delirious. Went to like every hospital in the world trying to figure out what was going on until they finally diagnosed the autoimmune. And it was very sobering, because so much of what triggers it is just me not taking care of myself. So here's this guy, you know, Jordan, we were talking about at the beginning, we'll sometimes joke that I'm like the least healthy person in the world. Like, I eat well, I exercise, but like there are times that I'll be working, I could sit here for like 20 hours and then just realize I haven't even gotten up to eat or drink or go to the bathroom. And that's terrible. Like, everyone should stand up and move around, but I get like so hyper focused, almost like obsessive with what I'm doing. And that's as unhealthy as it gets. Or getting so sucked into one thing or another, whether it's work or family, and then not doing those other things that do make me happy, whether it's activities or something like that. So sometimes I think when we look at health, we almost look at like the macro. Do I exercise? Do I eat well? Where oftentimes it's more of the micro stuff, like, do you have a work-life balance? It's important. Are you sleeping? Are you like just taking general like care of yourself? Do you get up and move around? Do you get up and see the sun? As you guys can tell, I still could work on that. I'm pretty pasty. It's one of those things that I am vulnerable enough to admit that even though I know what I need to do, I still struggle to always do it. And if anything, I think it's kind of what makes me human, and that I shouldn't use that as an excuse, but I also shouldn't be so proud as to say, no, I got this thing figured out. No, I mean, the exercise and the eating for me is easy. Just because I've been doing this for so long, and I know I'm not trying to be like 8% either. I love eating cake and ice cream and all these things, and I understand where my goals are. So what's important to me from a nutrition standpoint and what's not. I understand what's important to me from a fitness standpoint, and I can adjust those goals. But it's all the other stuff that I think I'm still a work in progress, and I'm getting better, but I could be better.
Yeah, I think that's a great example, though, you know, just for everybody in general to hear that, because like you said, your lifestyle revolves around the training and nutrition. Like, that comes like you firsthand. That's easy to do, but it
Yeah.
just goes to show how important that is, though, to keep stress at a moderate level if you can do that and really get your sleep. And that's just it's huge. It's very very just empowering. When it comes to your overall health.
Yeah, it's a great point that you make because for me, it doesn't end up being an issue again because I'm just super controlled in these behaviors. But for a lot of people, they're just like, why can't I stop overeating?
Right.
Why am I dragging not having energy? I go to the gym, but usually it's something that whether it's stress or whether sleep, like sleep, not getting enough sleep for most people leads to terrible behaviors, especially from an eating standpoint, because of the mechanisms that are triggered that are just going to make you eat and eat and eat. And most people are like, oh, I eat more when I don't sleep because I'm just awake longer. I'm like, no, no, no. It's way worse than that. It's mind control. Like your brain is signaling the chemical signals that are telling you to, one, eat more food when you're sleep deprived, and two, go for the stuff that's worst for you.
Yeah.
So oftentimes, like they're just like, I'm trying to eat well, I'm trying to exercise. Why isn't this changing? It's because they don't look at the non-obvious stuff. And I think those day-to-day lifestyle behaviors, if you can change those, which are oftentimes harder, then the fitness and nutrition stuff becomes easier.
Gotcha. Okay, so let's shift over to the rapid dynamic questions.
Love it. Rapid fire.
So number one, what are you currently doing self-development wise?
Meditation's the big thing in the morning. I've been doing it for a while, but I still think it's so important. It's the big one being like, what makes me happy? How well am I doing at fulfilling the things that I need to do to keep me happy?
Gotcha.
All right. What are you doing training nutrition wise right now?
Right now, nutrition, nothing really special. I mean, I used to count macros back in the day. I don't, just because I understand food so well. I'm on the enjoy food diet right now. So for a long time, I was an intermittent faster, but I have a son now, and he eats breakfast at 7. I love eating breakfast with him. I didn't eat breakfast for years, but it's like this now fits my lifestyle, so I do it. So nutrition, nothing really special. I mean, I always prioritize the same thing of protein in every meal, trying to get vegetables in every meal, fill in everything else as needed, and make sure I find foods that enjoy me. But it's almost like that. I come from the Alan Aragon School of Nutrition of like almost that 80-20 approach of 80% make it the good stuff, 20% even on a daily basis, just kind of free to whatever you enjoy. It's my birthday the other day. I've definitely had cake 3 days in a row because it's still in the freezer and it's there and it's delicious.
Nice.
Fitness standpoint, it's right now it's about 4 to 5 days a week. I've got like a flex conditioning day where I got 2 heavy days a week, 2 volume days, and then 1 conditioning day if we get it in. I just hired someone new who used to work for a company, a guy by the name of Patrick Devaney. Big Pat used to play football. I played at CU. The man is a tank. He's like 6'4", 250, and he is way too freaking strong. But the best part is he's my training partner now, so he pushes me. But I built a gym in my garage, and I need to get more weight because he used it all up. I'm like, I got like 500 pounds worth of weights. We're good. No, for me, it's great. For Pat, I need to go and buy more weight now. So training that is the approach. 2 heavy days, so 1 heavy upper body, 1 heavy lower body, and then just 2 volume days. Just trying to make sure that I don't get hurt. And then that conditioning day. I hate doing conditioning stuff, but I think it's so important. And right now, because it's nice out, the conditioning day usually just means a lot of sled work.
Nice.
Me and the Prowler get like this. It's everything from drags to pulls to presses to high pulls to you name it. My driveway is like 250, 300 feet long. It's the driveway from hell, but it is perfect for sled work. It's awesome.
That's awesome, man. So what do you like to do for fun?
For fun, I love winter skiing, non-winter basketball, television-wise football. I am a die-hard Colorado Buffaloes fan, and I am praying and hoping that they become good at football. There's early promise this year, so I enjoy football season, and I'm also a huge Chicago sports fan. I was born and raised in Chicago, so Bears, Blackhawks, Bulls, and right now my beloved Cubbies, which don't say anything. Don't say anything. They look good, but I'm afraid. I'm terrified to say anything at this point because until October hits, I don't know what will happen. But
it's that curse.
It's a bad curse. It's a really bad curse. I love sports. So pro teams all Chicago, college all University of Colorado. So football season for me is the most fun time right with the Cubs being great, with football season just in full swing. Although the Bears are terrible right now, they need to do something to turn it around. They're rough to watch.
Yeah. So who are some key mentors you can look back and just really just say, you if it wasn't for you guys, I probably wouldn't be sitting here where I'm at today?
too many people to recall. I mentioned Ted Spiker at the University of Florida. Two other people, I guess three other people at the University of Florida, which were huge for me. I had Debbie Tracy, I had Kim Walsh-Childers, and I had Julie Dodd. All three that were integral there to even like me moving. I had some difficult times during grad school, and they were a support system that I never expected to have. Mentors from a life standpoint, my parents meant a lot to me. I think a lot of my values definitely derived for them, and it's easy to overlook them, but I value myself a lot on the type of person that I am. From the fitness standpoint, good Lord, I mean, I've had so many that it's ridiculous, but I'm going to leave out people. But if I have to list off people who have influenced me or have been able to spend a lot of time with, oh boy. So we have Jason Ferruggia, we have Martin Rooney, we have Alan Cosgrove, we have Bill Hartman, we have obviously Alan Aragon, we have Mike Roussel also on the nutrition side, David Jack with teaching me to communicate in a way that and just be a good human. We got Smitty, Jim Smith, who's just such a great freaking person. He does all of like DeFranco stuff, and the guy is crazy. I've been fortunate enough to work with Arnold Schwarzenegger and his outlook on life and how hard he pushes on things, but almost his humility for someone as successful as him. It's incredible. Like it's one of those people where you like sit and spend time with them, and you're just like, wow, what an inspirational human being that even with all the success that he has, man, it's going to kill me because I'm going to get off this and I'm going to be like, how did I not list so many of these other people? But that I think has been great from a business standpoint. I've been able for the last couple of years work with Tim Ferriss, who is really, really smart when it comes to understanding how to create great content and not focus on things that really aren't important. His whole thing is just like, make your stuff so good they don't even have to market it. It markets itself, and there's such a value in that. So working with him it's a great reminder on getting back to those values. So you try and surround yourself with people that are smart in different ways. And for me, Eric Cressy is going to be another one that has had just a huge impact. So freaking smart. John Berardi, I worked with Precision Nutrition as a consultant for a while, and just a brilliant mind. And if I'm going to lump John in there, then Phil Caravaggio as well. For me, it's always about that. I know what value I bring to the table, and I know what I want to be good at, and I try and find the people who are the best in their fields and just learn from them, just soak it up. Early in my career at Men's Health, I've leaned a lot on Mike Boyle and learning from him. So I mean, when I was at Men's Health, it was like a kid in the candy store because you could have access to anyone, and I just wanted to plop myself down and like learn from the best of the best and the best, and just talk with them, spend my time, like ask them questions, everything about like from programming to from nutrition. It's like I got a PhD in the school of life from all of these people. Never stopped asking questions, never stopped learning, never stopped going to the stuff that, and I've never stopped that. I mean, when I started my own business, one of the first things I did was I hired Jason Ferruggia as a coach. He was out in Santa Monica too, and we became training partners. But I've been training people for 10 plus years at that point, but it was like I could still learn more. When it's come time to like grow a business, one of the best decisions I've made was like leaning on people and asking for help. I don't know if I'm going to give him the satisfaction of calling him a mentor or calling them mentors, but there are people like Saul Orwell who, created Examine.com, who I've talked to so much about entrepreneurship. Noah, who created Sumo Me, when there was some pivotal points in my business, I called him up and just asked questions. I had him poke holes in what I'm doing. I look even outside of avenues. Everyone knows that I'm a freak for Justin's nut butter. I absolutely love it. But there's a guy who created a peanut butter that he recently sold to Hormel Foods for almost $300 million. Jeez. Peanut butter. It gets sold for $300 million. And we hold a yearly entrepreneur event called 212. And, he was one of our keynote speakers. But the amount of time that I was able to spend with him before that and talk and listen and understand how he built his business and the way he viewed it was important. So mentors are something that are invaluable for me, whether it's like you're an official mentor or someone that I consider as influential or very smart. I always want to surround myself with people that just think about things differently, have done something innovative or wonderful or help people make a difference. And that's one of the great enjoyments of my life. I will never stop doing that. I will never stop either hunting people down, asking for their time, paying people for the time. I bring people in every year to consult with my own businesses. make sure that they're keeping me honest, teaching me new things, and making me smarter. So I'm I rant on this for so long because I feel so strongly about it. I'm so indebted to the people who have even given me time. It even goes back to, he wasn't a mentor, but I remember when I had that pivotal part in my life where I was making good money, I was doing well, but I was in the psychology field and I was working at a university, and I was thinking about becoming a writer. And I reached out to all these writers, and no one took the time to respond to me. There was Neil Well, Boulder Daily came, the local Boulder paper when I was still living in Colorado back in the day. We've gone full circle, and I'm back here again. And he took time to meet me at a coffee shop and talk to me for about 45 minutes. And for him, it was 45 minutes. Yeah, for me, it changed my life. Yeah. He basically convinced me, like, no matter what people are telling me about the limitations of writing, he was like, they're all true. It's going to be hard to find a job. You can end up in the middle of nowhere. You're going to make no money. But he's like, man, am I happy with what I do. Like, he was a sports writer. He's like, I've been to like 10 Super Bowls, living with 3 Olympics. I've done all this stuff. He's like, I'm able to take care of my family. I love it. And he's like, you know what? If you really love this, if you're willing to go through this, just go for it. Don't worry about everyone saying. And like, I don't think I've ever talked to Neil again. I emailed him a couple times. I don't even know if I got to him to like say thank you, because it's something I never lost perspective of it. It's even like when we first met, you guys reached out to me and we didn't like work. We sat down at Creation Cafe and had a conversation, because it's like, I do it every week still. I try and take 1 to 2 person every single week who contact me and either meet with them on a phone call or meet with them in person, because I know it's a little bit of time for me, but it means so much more for anyone else, whether we work together or not, it doesn't matter. So the role of helping people out, and it's like that domino effect. Like, you help out one person, like, who knows what change they're going to go on and make in the world, how many amazing things that they can do, or how much they might be able to go forth and help someone else out. So it's so great, because anyone can be a mentor. Anyone can influence another person. And I think that we all have to almost see the power within ourselves, whether it's in business or fitness or anything else, to go and just help other people. And I think this goes way beyond the scope of this conversation, but a lot of people, when they look at what's happening in the world, in like the political standpoint, it's very easy for people to get down on the world.
Oh, absolutely.
And we shouldn't be. Like, the power is within all of us to like reflect the change that we want to see in the world. If you want this world to be a better place, just be the best version of yourself, because that's all you can control. Exactly. And when you do something good, other people put more good in the world, and the good is all around us. The problem with the 24-hour media cycle is what sells is usually the bad shit, which is unfortunate. But like, we see all the bad shit, but like, if we open our eyes and put out a lot of good stuff in the world, it's pretty awesome. And it's something that I feel very strongly about for everyone, because I do believe everyone has something to give to this world. It's why I enjoy working with people so much. I enjoy working with you guys or other people. It's like, you guys are doing great service. You guys are like taking a very complicated subject and trying to break down those barriers and help more people, and put good science, but behind like forward-facing mass media type stuff, bringing cool people together. And it's something that like I can totally get behind. We don't even need to see eye to eye on every single thing. I just need to know that you guys are trying to help people, and I'm like, I'm in. And that, if we all take that idea of like that we can be a mentor, I think the impact that you can have, and again, one of those things that can make you feel good, it feels good to help other people. Yeah. I don't care who you are. It feels really freaking awesome, and I'll never get tired of that. And if I tell everyone, if I ever lose sight of that, if I ever stop helping people for the sake of helping people got to show up on my door and just start beating my ass, because it means I lose sight of everything. I refuse to have that happen.
Love it, man. Thank you so much for that. Jeez, that was awesome.
Yeah, it's like Damon John said that life is a series of different mentors, and it's absolutely true, and it's critical to have mentors. I've told so many people that, so it's all about just taking action and going to seek them.
Yeah. So awesome. Last question for the show that we always ask all of our guests. What does it mean to live a dynamic lifestyle for you?
For me, it means it's just going to get back to that being happy and finding that happiness thing. And don't let the outside perceptions of others cloud or redirect the way that you want to live your life. At the core of everything, we all know who we want to be, what we want to do, what we should make, what makes us happy. And it's easy for outside influences, social media, perceptions. Like there's a lot of people like, I'm going to be a writer, I'm going to start my own company. I'm leaving a job at the biggest health site on the internet. Livestrong.com, when I left, it was getting 42 million people per month coming there. It was bigger than WebMD. I'm going to go leave that and start a company that has no name, that has nothing. It's just like, if I allowed the outside world to influence what I do or how I do it, I probably wouldn't be very happy. And I think living a dynamic lifestyle means chasing happiness, and chasing the happiness that you seek for yourself, not something that is predetermined by others. Listen, I work in the fitness industry, and I love being fit. I love lifting weights. I love being healthy. Everything in my industry tells me that I should be freaking shredded, walking around with a six-pack year-round. Guess what? I don't. I've had a six-pack before. It's fun. I don't think there's anything wrong with that goal. I will probably pursue it again another time just to prove to my wife that I can and make her all excited, because that's what charges me up. But I don't. I walk around 12, 14% body fat. I eat the foods that I love. I train really freaking hard. But like, I don't need to go and take off my shirt to prove to people that I know what I'm doing, or that I can help people, or that I'm effective. And in some ways, does that maybe affect or hurt my business? Sure. I know that this is like an Instagram universe where sex sells, appeal sells, but if I'm selling myself short of what makes myself happy, if I'm doing this for another reason other than the fact of that I want to, if I want to get really lean, if I want to show up, go ahead, do it. It's great. I love it. It's such a credit to anyone who can get super lean, because it's the hard goal to achieve, and people should feel the need to flaunt it. But like, it's not a goal or a priority for me right now. It used to be. So why am I going to go and do that just to play the game? I won't. So it's like, it's understanding what makes you happy, and not feeling the need to give in to whether it's peer pressure or expectation or whatever it might be. And that's a dynamic lifestyle to me, because I mean, nothing feels better than being happy. Yeah. Nothing at all.
Well said.
All right, Adam. So we want to end the show by just, commending you and acknowledging you. For the first, I just want to say that I commend you for your courage, your bravery, for following what you're passionate about, what you love, and what makes you happy. First of all,
thank you.
The second thing is, we've worked together for over a year, and you were a key mentor for us, man. And, it really helped us grow our business, even just grow, us as just characters, coaches, entrepreneurs, everything. So I just want to say personally, thank you so much for helping us out and for everything that you're doing within the fitness industry. I want to thank your brother, Jordan, everybody that's, that's contributing to making this place a better place to live and everything like that.
I'm proud of you guys. It's fun for me to see what you guys are doing. It's fun for you guys doing this podcast and getting the honor of being on here. It's awesome. You guys, you care about what you do, and that's the best part of your business model. Like, you genuinely care, and don't ever stop doing that, because behind all of the work that you guys put in, behind all of the credentials and certifications, and you guys are really big on just continuing education, which is part of what makes you so successful. I think the root of it is just how much you care, and it's it's why I worked with you guys in the first place, and I love it. Keep on doing what you do. This has been fun.
Yeah, thank you very much. Appreciate that. So, where can our listeners find you and your work?
Yeah, 2 places to go. So there's bornfitness.com. That's where we have all the health, fitness, nutrition information. If you want more on the consulting stuff that we do, where we talk about business, social media, helping content grow, it's Pen Name Consulting. So it's pen name, we got the .co, but if you look up Pen Name Consulting, Adam Bornstein, Jordan Bornstein, you can find us there. And on all social handles, it's either Born Fitness or Pen Name Consulting, one of those two. So it's been a pleasure, you guys. It's
awesome.
been fun.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll have all that in the show.
I blew by your 30 minutes. I told you, you can't contain me. You can't contain me to 30 minutes.
It's all good, man. It was all worth it. It's going to be great content to put out to help other people, so I'm all for it. So yeah, Adam, thank you so much. We'll let you know when this is up, and continue to keep doing what you're doing, man, and we'll be in touch soon.
All right, thanks so much, you guys.
Have a great weekend, man. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching the video. So below, I want you guys to subscribe to our community. From there, you guys can get your 2 guides on the Physique Development Guide, the Nutrition Myths Dispelled Guide, and join our community and get all access to everything else that we're giving out.